Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another Fighter Heart podcast. Today, we have the pleasure of sitting with Tammy. Thanks, Tammy.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Of course. Thanks for taking the time. So, we like to get into it real quick around here. So, give us a little bit of your background, where you're from, a little bit of your upbringing, and then get right into your Fighter Heart story.
Sure, great. Born in Holland, Michigan, but moved to Arizona when I was 9. Grew up there, then moved to California, where I currently reside. Went to college here. I am married almost for 30 years. In September, it'll be 30 years. And I have a bonus daughter and a grandson, and we have 2 kids of our own. It's been a really full life, and I work from home. I am an entrepreneur and have been for like the last 20 years. It's varied from boutique ownership to 13 years of fashion and beauty blogging, and then coaching women how to start their businesses online. And that's what I did until I had a pivot in my life. And in the summer of 2021, I turned 50 and I was determined to get healthy. I spent a lot of time on the computer. I gained the weight. I had the migraines from the neck tension and all of it. And I was like, okay, I'm going to take the time for myself. And I started Pilates, which was incredible. And I did that like 4 times a week. Plus, of course, changing up the diet. And so I got really healthy, like the healthiest I'd probably been in a decade. And life was super busy. My daughter was playing high school volleyball and she was in the playoffs. I had clients online. I was going to Pilates, all the things, right? Trying to juggle everything. And in October of 2021, so just a few months after I turned 50, I started to get really weak legs. And it just progressively got worse over the course of a week to the point where one morning when I woke up and got out of bed, I didn't trust my legs to hold me up. So I crawled on the floor. And my husband's like, yeah, I think we're calling an ambulance now. And I'm like, no, no, I'm fine. He's like, no, you're not fine, obviously. But I had no other symptoms, right? I wasn't feeling sick. I wasn't feeling in pain or anything. It was just weakness. So ultimately, the ambulance did come, brought me to the emergency department. At the time, of course, you can guess that they were taking COVID tests on
Mhm.
everybody.
Yeah,
And I had
2021.
Yeah, 2021. I had no sore throat, no fever, no sinus issues, breathing issues, none of that. So I was like, no, I don't have COVID, but go ahead and take the test. And of course, it came back positive, right? And I'm just like, I'm still in denial. I'm like, that is not what is causing weak legs, right? So they take me back to the isolation room and checking me in, asking me questions. That's the last thing I remember for about 3 weeks.
No, what?
Yeah. So, according to my family now, all of this is secondary from my family because I don't remember anything. My body just began shutting down. It was shunting, so all the blood was like going to my organs. And I had then my lactic acid came back real high. So I had what's called rhabdomyolysis. And
Mm.
it's something that like marathon runners get, that lactic acid buildup in your body. And because of that, it was breaking down my muscle. And it became a story of, do you know the children's book When You Give a Mouse a Cookie?
No.
Okay, well, one thing leads to another, leads to another, leads to another, right? It's kind of
Okay.
like a dominoes effect. So my muscles were breaking down in large particles, not visual to our eye, but it was enough to damage my kidneys. So my kidneys shut down. Well, the treatment for rhabdo is to flush your body with a lot of fluid to try and flush out the lactic acid. But because my kidneys were shut down, that fluid was just building up on my body. Well, because that fluid was building up on my body, I got what was called compartment syndrome. And the way you tell that is you get very large blisters and heat on your skin. And so that was happening on both of my lower legs. And
You
so they
didn't
had
you
to,
didn't notice that before you went to the hospital or?
no, the only thing I had was the weakness.
Oh.
In retrospect, that weakness was from that rhabdomyolysis
Mm.
that was occurring in my body. Essentially, my muscles were breaking down and I didn't know it, except for the sign of the weakness.
Wow.
But they weren't, it wasn't so bad. I wasn't like in pain. I wasn't having cramping or, any of that until I got to the hospital room, apparently, or the ER. Apparently, I was screaming out in pain because my legs hurt so bad. But I feel blessed that I don't remember any of that,
So what do you
unfortunately.
remember? You woke up and you were fine? Like what would you
Well,
remember?
so eventually I got to ICU, but in between that time when, I don't remember to the time that I kind of started remembering, I was having kind of these almost drug-induced hallucinations, right? Because
Mm.
I was on such heavy pain medication. They did emergency surgery to my legs.
Oh,
My heart stopped twice, and my family was called in to say goodbye to me.
wow.
And that was within the first 24 hours. And during that time, when they came in to say goodbye, my son, who was 20 at the time, he just let out this scream, just in sadness and overwhelm. And when I heard his scream, I opened my eyes.
Oh, really?
And so they did not choose to, pull the plug. They're like, no, we're going to fight this. And so, just all of it worked together. My personal belief is the Holy Spirit working through my son and giving them a sign that I was still in there fighting.
Wow. Well,
Yeah.
so do they know why this happened or is it genetic or?
No, so there's two theories. So they diagnosed me with atypical COVID-19. One theory is that it's just COVID-19, how it attacked my body. The second theory is it was my body attacking itself, trying to attack the foreign substance, which was the COVID
Hmm.
virus. And so
It's kind of like
all
cancer cells, right? Like white blood cells attacking, multiplying.
Well, it's like, for example, my daughter has type 1 diabetes. She was diagnosed when she was 5 years old. And what type 1 diabetes often is the body attacking the pancreas because it thinks there's a foreign substance in there because of a virus or an accident or something that occurs to kind of cause the body to be out of whack. So, it's one of two things. It's either from the virus or it's from my body attacking itself, trying to get rid of the virus.
Hmm.
Yeah. It's
So
it's
it
kind of
must be rare,
unknown.
right? This must be really rare.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
called atypical because it is rare. In fact, my vascular surgeon, I ended up having to have my right leg above the knee amputated
Wow.
because the surgery that they did because of the compartment syndrome. So she actually ended up writing a research paper on my case because it's so rare. And now
Mm.
it's out there for anyone to find as, a way to help other people if they're experiencing doctors specifically, if their patient is experiencing these symptoms. Now there's some
Oh.
research for them.
So how long were you in the hospital for?
4 months,
4 months.
127 days. Yeah.
Do you remember when you went home? The
I
day you
do.
went home?
I do.
What was
February
that like?
27 of 2022. It was a wonderful day. I was in ICU for 2 months and then in the basic unit for a month, and then I was in acute rehab for another month.
Mm.
And I was still very, very sick when I went home. I was still on a tube feeding. I was still on dialysis for my kidneys. I was malnourished. I wasn't eating much. Physically, like I had to retrain my body how to eat and how to swallow. But coming home was just a new level of healing. It's very hard to heal in the hospital when there's people interrupting your sleep all of the time. The food's really honestly not that nutritious, and there's bells going off and people doing blood draws. And, so once I got home, the real healing began.
Mm. So did you have like an outpatient rehab kind of thing or?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So the first 2 months, I had in-home physical therapy and occupational therapy come to my home.
Mm.
and I also had outpatient dialysis. So, twice a week I would go to outpatient dialysis until my kidneys healed enough that they were satisfied I no longer needed it.
So you said
And
how long? It was a month? About a month?
it was a couple of months that I did in home, and then I transferred physical therapy and occupational therapy to outpatient.
Yeah. So how was it transitioning to, not having one of your legs and like how was that like?
Yeah, it was quite a shock, but I was very sick, so I kind of had time to get used to it, right? Like it wasn't like, okay, amputated my leg and the next day they had me up walking.
Yeah.
Which a lot of people, if they have their leg amputated because of trauma or something and there isn't anything else wrong with their body, then they can get up and start walking fairly quickly, with crutches or with a walker with one leg kind of thing. Because I had so much damage to my left leg. I had my soleus muscle removed. I have 9-inch scars on each side of my left leg, my left calf, as well as the right leg above the knee amputation. So my PT was simply the very first goal I had was to bend my left leg to 90 degrees, bend that knee to 90 degrees. And sitting up on my own was difficult. I needed help. I needed to use a Hoyer lift to get me out of bed and into my wheelchair. Like I was so, so weak. So just the basic movements were really my first goal. So it took a very, very long time. I'm still actually going to PT now.
Wow. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, it makes sense. It was only like 3 years ago, right? So
Yeah.
at
Well,
this point,
it'll be 4 years in October. Yeah.
yeah. Oh, it's coming up.
Yeah.
So, I wanted to know, with like, what gives you the motivation? Like, did you ever think, like this is really hard, or I'm not going to be able to do this, or did you have doubts at all? Like, what was motivating you to just be like, all right, next step? Like, I know I'm going to just follow step by step and go through the motions here.
Yeah. I think I was blessed with being a little bit naive about the process.
You
I think that helps, not knowing what the expectations are.
weren't
Um,
overwhelming yourself. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, exactly. And it really was celebrating the smallest wins. You know, we
Mhm.
have we had a Facebook group called Tough Like Tammy and keeping people updated. And every day we would give them a little update of a win that happened in the early days after I came home. And that was really motivating for me. Like, what do we get to post today? What do we get to share today?
Mm.
So I would say it was, really my community of support. Of course, my family is fantastic and supportive, but there's those outer layers that have really helped me along my journey. And then my faith of just believing that, um, you know, there's purpose in what I went through and
And there's a
being
plan.
able to share it. Yeah, and being able to share it with other people who are also going through hard things.
Is that so? Is that did you like create a foundation or anything, or like what are you doing now to kind of spread awareness? Because I'm sure this is really rare.
Yeah. So Tough Like Tammy is my website, my social media handles, and I talk a lot about resilience and the tools that you need to be resilient and really trying to stay focused on the positive emotions. And let's not focus so much on the big goals of I want to run $1 million business. I want to, be running a marathon. Let's take it one step at a time. And what do we need to do to get to that next step? And what positive emotions can we focus on that are going to help us to the next step? So what I'm doing through my messaging, through my blogging, through my speaking is just sharing that message that things will get better.
I know it was a rare thing. So I don't know if you did this, but a lot of times I talk to people and they'll say excuse me, they went online and searched for someone with the same disorder or disease, and saw how they dealt with it and like messaged them or something. Did you have that, or like there was really no one else to ask about this?
Yeah, it's the atypical COVID, no. The amputation, yes.
Okay.
Lots of amputees that I have connected with on Instagram specifically. There's a couple of good friends that I have made. One lives in Texas, one lives in Germany, and we chatted up in, the DMs about what we're going through because we all lost our limbs around the same time and
Mm.
have a lot of similarities. Not the cause of, but our hospital stories are really similar. Our rehab stories are really similar. So it does really help to have someone who understands, kind of where you're at in the journey and they're kind of going through it with you.
That's
It's
one of the
very
best parts of
supportive.
social media, right? Finding
It
people.
is. It
That's one
is.
of the good things. They say
Yeah,
so much negative, but that's a great thing.
it is.
So, how did you find all these two other people in Texas and Germany? Did you just search them out, or were you in the same groups?
I'm gonna say that they both found me. Um, yeah, because I've been very open on social media about my journey and I kind of wanted to document it not only for myself but for other people that might be going through something. Of course, nobody's going to have the same story as me, but we can kind of all relate to these grand life pivots that happen to us. And how are we going to overcome it? How are we going to thrive through it? And so, there's all kinds of amputees that I have connected with through this process. Those two just happen to be really special to me.
Oh, that's awesome. So, what does a day in the life look like to you now?
So I work from home. I still work on the computer as an outreach and social media specialist for another coach. And I also am growing my speaking career. So I'm getting on podcasts and reaching out to stages and trying to get on stages to share not only my story, but how it can help others transform their stories. And PT, like I said, I go to PT still a couple times a week, and I have two elderly dogs that require a lot of care.
How's the family? Everyone's good?
Everybody's good. In fact, we
Good.
just moved my youngest to college in Chicago.
Oh,
So,
nice.
yeah, she's 1,600 miles away now. So she's starting college out there and a lot of changes in the family, but everybody is thriving and doing well.
Awesome. So, do you have a prosthetic? Like you are
I
able to
do.
walk a little bit at this point?
I do. In fact, I recently, well, in April, I had to have surgery on my remaining toes. Due to inactivity and weight bearing, I got hammer toes. Like all five of them are really tightly
Mm.
curled under. So we did a procedure to lengthen them, straighten them. And it's helped my walking a ton. Like I don't have the pain in the foot. So I've recently graduated to the forearm crutches. So I'm walking with my prosthetic and my forearm crutches, and then I have an AFO for my other leg as well.
Awesome. Do they give you like a goal, like at by this time and next year we want you to be able to walk without the crutches? Anything like that?
We don't go that far out.
Mm,
So typically how insurance will work is they'll give you 12 to 18 sessions. And within that 12 to 18 sessions, we have goals.
mm.
So for this particular one, because I just had the foot surgery, we're working on my ankle strength and getting my dorsiflexion improved and walking stairs and ramps with the forearm crutches, a little bit more technical type of things. And then just um, feeling safe out in the community with my walking, having good
Yeah.
balance, that kind of thing.
Awesome. Awesome story. Incredible. What's some advice you would give to someone that maybe they had the same kind of COVID, or maybe they just got their leg amputated. They don't know what to think. It was a surprise thing as well. What's
Yeah,
some advice you wish you had back then that you know now?
I really wish that I had known, and I would love to share with people to go at your own pace. Don't compare your journey to someone else's journey. Uh, we thought I was going to be up and walking as soon as I got that prosthetic, but I had so many other things going on that it just wasn't possible. My body wasn't even strong enough at that point. So when I first started kind of researching the amputees, there was this one woman I followed and she was 5 years out. And she's like, after 5 years of being an amputee, I finally kind of feel like life is back to normal. At that time, I was like, are you kidding me? 5 years was so long. but here I am going on 4 years, and
Yeah.
it's just maybe starting to feel a little bit normal now.
So
Yeah.
that's your advice. Just take things at your own pace.
Do it at your own pace and don't feel the pressure from either people in your life, that are pressuring you to go faster, do more, or from people that you see like on social media or books that you read or whatever. It can be heartbreaking. Sometimes you just have to unfollow those people and not put it in front of yourself because it puts too much pressure. Just
Is
keep
that
it at
something you
your
actually
pace.
struggled with at the time?
I did, yeah.
Yeah, you were putting
Uh,
pressure on yourself.
yeah. Amy
Mm.
Purdy, I don't know if you're familiar with her.
Mm.
She's a double amputee, and she had a lot of similarities with the kidney injury and, sepsis and all of the stuff. And my mom actually gave me her book, like soon after I was out of the hospital, and I read her book. Well, she's a Paralympian snowboarder and she was on Dancing with the Stars and like all this stuff.
Uh,
And mind you, it's been 20 years for her,
yeah, she
you
has some
know.
time. Yeah, she's had some time to adjust.
Exactly. Goals, right?
Exactly. Yeah, one thing at a time, like you said, right? That's it.
Right.
Awesome, Tammy. Thank you so much for sharing your story with us.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I appreciate it. And I hope it's helpful to someone else.
Yeah, all the time. We always get these comments that, this person's helped so much with me. I relate to this person. So, even one person, it's worth it.
Absolutely. I agree.
Everyone else, thank you again for watching another Fighter Heart podcast. We'll see you again next week.